Hello everyone, myself Swati Jayant Kokate from Nagesh Karasgi Orchid School. Today I am here to teach you history lesson number 10, India after independence, that is history lesson India after independence. So in the last lesson we have seen what challenges did the country had to see, what challenges it has to face, and after that we have seen how the power sharing was there. Also after power sharing, how these different countries or how the linguistic problems arise, and on that basis there were too many disputes also. The same we are going to continue here. Then formation of states, how on what basis the states were formed. Like we have seen that major linguistic problems were there and the groups were formed on that basis. Both the Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru and the Deputy Prime Minister Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, they were against that dividing the states, formation of the states on this basis, because they wanted a united nation. But Sardar Patel also rejected the idea of linguistic provinces as it would not help the growth of nationalism. So when it comes to nationalism, everyone should be equal in each and every way. But this decision of Congress created great disappointment among the Kannada speakers, Malayalam speakers, Marathi speakers and Telugu speakers. They began to protest against these things. So they wanted their own states on this basis. The strongest protest came from the Telugu speaking district of Madras Presidency. So what happened here, the Telugu speakers from Madras, in October, a veteran Gandhian Poti Shriram Allu, see this is a person you can see here, okay, he was the, what is this, you mean veteran Gandhian means he was the follower of Gandhiji, he followed the what path of Gandhiji, was in favor of whatever his thinkings were there. But what he did, he started means he went on a hunger strike demanding for a different Andhra state for Telugu speakers. So his demand was there, give us a different state for Telugu speakers, and this demand attracted much support for. So what happened, he went on hartal, like means you know that Gandhiji was, if for their demands they were going for hartals, bandh, etc. So without any violence he also started a hunger strike. So he did not had it food for near about more than 50 days. So in these things what happened, he died in this. So like this means what was the effect, like for these things, this Poti Sriram Allu, he went on hunger strike, and for these Telugu speakers, so this demand, like this means when he was died, okay, so due to this fast and all, these politicians or these people had to take actions on this. So they were given the different state. Then what happened, when one state got its rights, the other states started emerging. So like this, on 15 December, after 58 days in this fast, this person died, and as a newspaper put it, the news of passing away of this person all engulfed, means the news of like chaos, like the news spread, and the powerful effect was that the states were divided. And after that creation, linguistic communities also demanded their own separate states, like other different states also started their demands, like Tamil, Oriya, Malayalam, Kannada, all these speakers also, they also started asking for that. Then a little later, 1960s, the Bilingual state of Bombay was divided into separate state for Marathi and Gujarati speakers. Bilingual means speaking two language fluently, like this means two in Bombay, two were there, Marathi also and Gujarati speakers were also there. So here you can see on this basis how the different states were formed. So in this map you can see the making of linguistic states. First it was, you can see with the pink, you can see different princely states, you can see in your textbook where the princely states were there, and British in India had rule over these with yellow color, central provinces were there, and after that you can say India states before 1 November 56, that is the erstwhile princely states, that is former princely states which were there, and the other states. You can see the difference here, and after that you can see that Indian states in 1975, like how they were divided separately. Then there was a planning for development. So after this there should be some planning for development. Why we have got this independence? That lifting India and Indians out of poverty and building a modern technical and industrial base were among the major objectives of the new nation. So what was the main object of this? That they should bring some equality among this poor socially as well as economically. Then in 1950 the government set up a planning commission to help design the and also to execute these suitable policies for economic development. There was broad arrangement on what was called a mixed economy model. So this India accepted mixed economy model. What is mixed economy model? In this model, both the state and the private sector would play important and complementary role in increasing the production and generating jobs. So in 1956, a second 5-year plan was formulated which focused on the development of heavy industries like steel and also on building the large dams. So here you can see the bridge on Mahanandi river constructed to control the flow of water. Bridges and dams became the symbol of development in independent India. So this was very important thing which had done after the independence. This is the picture of work going on at the Gandhi Sagar Bandh. This was the first of the 4 dams built on the Chambal river in Madhya Pradesh. It was completed in 1960. So see, so much big project it was. So in 1956 the second 5-year plan was formulated, and what was, they focused strongly on the development of heavy steel industries. This focus on heavy industries, efforts to legislate state regulations, and the economy was to guide economic policy for the next few decades. This approach had many strong supporters but also some vocal critics. So Nehru on the 5-year plan, how the article is given, what was the plan and what things were given here. So this figure is of Jawaharlal Nehru at the Bhilai steel plant, and it was help of the former Soviet Union in 1959. It was located in the backward rural area of Chhattisgarh, and it came to be seen important sign of development of modern India after independence. So like this, some different things were developed for bringing the equality among each and every person socially as well as economically. See, but some felt that it had put inadequate emphasis on agriculture. So they were thought that on agriculture these things are not focused. Others argued that they neglected primary education, but still there was an account that environmental implications of economic policies, because Mahatma Gandhi follower Mirabai wrote in 1949, by science and machinery he may get huge returns for a time, but ultimately will come desolation. Desolation means destruction, somewhere it is destructing the nature, you can say. We have got to study nature balance and develop the lives within her law. To survive, we have to survive physically healthy and morally decent species. So these were the things. See here the search for an independent foreign policy. Here this is the picture of Jawaharlal Nehru and Krishna Menon arriving at the United Nations. Krishna Menon led the Indian delegations of the UN, United Nations, between 1952 to 1962 and argued for a policy of non-alignment. So here this article is given, you can go through it. See, India gained freedom soon after the devastations of the Second World War, but at that time a new international body, United Nations, was also formed in its infancy. And what happened? The ideology conflicts between the USA, USSR, also both countries creating military alliances. So this was all the period attending independence, and what Prime Minister Nehru, who was the foreign minister of newly independent India, developed free Indian foreign policies in the context, and non-alignment formed the bedrock for the foreign policies, you can say. So what happened here? This was led by statesmen from Egypt, Yugoslavia, Indonesia, Ghana and the India, and the non-aligned movements urged countries not to join either of the two major alliances away, and you can say, but the policy of staying away from the alliances was not a matter of remaining isolated or neutral. So what is the thing here? What is the, you can say, planning for the development? That the search for an independent foreign policy was there. India got independence soon after the destruction of the Second World War. See, whenever war is there, too much destruction is there. Prices go on increasing of each and every thing, maybe that food products or whatever things are there, clothing is there, whatever things, the prices goes on increasing. Then whatever money is there, it is being invested or given to the military force, the new international body. Then United Nations was formed in 1945, and this ideology, that conflicts between the USA and USSR, with both countries creating military alliances. So what happened? This Prime Minister was a supporter of non-alignment movement, and according to this movement, countries should not join either of the two major alliances. So these countries are not going to join any of these two. India played an active role in mediating between America and Soviet alliances, and India took a humanitarian and moral stand against this war. But for one reason or the other, many non-aligned countries including India got involved in the war. So by 1970s, a large number of countries joined the non-aligned movements. So they wanted to stay neutral, they nor wanted to support this party or that country, but they had to just, you can say, include themselves in the, or join the war. So how were the next 60 years on? So what did they get? We have to see, isn't it? So what were the advantages or disadvantages we can see, or what were the, in which things were we successful, and our failures, what did we have committed and where did we fail to do these things. So 60 years of independence have passed. After 60 years, we have achieved a lot, but at the same time there are number of failures too. So in what things did you get success? Can you tell? So if just recall or just see the things which you have learnt when there was a British rule, in which things we were being harassed. Did we get education? Did we get proper food? Did we get all the rights, you can say, or dignity? Yes, isn't it? So what our success was? India is still united and it still has a democratic country. 13th general election have been held since independence. So 13 general elections were held after independence, as well as hundreds of state and local elections. So after independence, so many elections have been done. There is a free press, means everyone has a right to, you can say everyone can say whatever, or has a right to express his feelings, his or her. There is an independent judiciary. There is unity in diversity, means we are having too many diverse religions, different states, etc. But then too we are living unitedly. These are our successes, we can say. We are living in democratic country. We have seen that different elections have been done. There is a free press, means we are free to express our thinkings, our views. Also we are we are having a independent judiciary, means when where the judiciary wants to take some actions, it does not work under the government. It has its own rules and regulations and a right to take the actions. Also there is unity in diversity. These are the successes. Then we are going to see what are the failures. Fine. So we are going to see what are the failures, how did, where we are expecting the things to be done but not yet completed. We can say that despite these constitutional guarantees, the untouchables or untouchable people or the Dalits face violence and discrimination even today. So there are in the constitution, it is said that untouchability is not there now. It is the untouchables also, they are being treated equally. Also the Dalits, they are also treated, you can say, having all the rights. But then too, when we come to some rural areas or to some communities, we find that these people are violated and discriminated even today. So whatever things are written, it is not taken in practice. Also, despite the secular ideals enriched in the constitution, there have been clashes between different religious groups in many states. The gulf between the rich and the poor has grown over the years. So what here they are thinking of, just you can say removing the distance, or just what distance is there, in that they are ready to, what was the focus on, that there should be one nation, everything should be equal, same everywhere, isn't it? But somewhere secular ideals were not been continued, or you can say it was only written and not in practice in the constitution. There have been clashes for different religious groups, between religious groups in many of the states, and it had come, means the clashes were not to the local level, it had come to a very disastrous or whatever disadvantages were there, and the gulf between, the distance between the rich and the poor has grown over the years. So these are the nations, or the nation 60 years and on. So here you can see, okay, this is the picture of Dharavi in Bombay. It is one of the world's largest slum. Notice the high rise buildings in the background. So here you can see that. So is it a good thing? Is there equality? You can see now in today also you can see this Dharavi. This is the place in Mumbai where you can see the world's largest slum area it is. People live in lakhs here, and nearby it you can see the skyscraper buildings here, isn't it? High rising buildings. So do you find this equality? These people don't get even, they have to struggle a lot for their basic needs, and here these are having the high rising buildings with all facilities inside as well as what more than the basic needs. So some parts of India, and this is of only one example we have seen. There may be many of them, like these people, they don't get health facility, isn't it? Health care, education facility. So all these things matter a lot. So we can say that this is a failure of our after 60, the nation after 60 years also. So one more thing we are going to see what happened in Sri Lanka. Fine. So see, in 1956 the year of the state of India was recognized on the basis of languages. So everyone wanted different state as of their language. The Parliament of Sri Lanka, then Ceylon, introduced, this is the parliament, it introduced an act recognizing Sinhala as the sole official language of the country. So what this parliament wanted of Sri Lanka to be seen as they recognized Sinhala, this is a language and it should be official to the country as an official language of the country. This made the Sinhala and the medium of instructions in all the state schools, colleges, public examinations and in the court. So this as a, if it was a official language, so was used in every government sectors also. The new act was opposed. The new act opposed by the Tamil speaking minority who lived in the north of the islands. So they did not want this language to be official. So when you deny me my language, said one of the Tamil MP, you deny me everything. So here against the things come like they did not want this language. You are hoping for the divided Ceylon. So this parliament you want to divide it, want another adding. Do not fear, I assure you that will you have a divided Ceylon. So if you want this, we will divide it. An opposition member himself, Sinhala speaking, he was a Sinhala speaking, predicted that if the government did not change its mind and insisted on the act being passed, two torn little bleeding states might yet arise out of one little state. So see, on the language, on the linguistic basis in Sri Lanka, these many things were there, means so much fight was there, and for several decades now a civil war was raged in Sri Lanka, whose roots lie in the imposition of Sinhala language on the Tamil speaking minority. So, and another South Asian country, Pakistan, was divided into two when the Bengali speakers of the east felt that their language was being suppressed. So by contrast, India has managed to survive as a single nation in the part because the many regional languages were given freedom to flourish. And had Hindi been imposed to South India in the way that Urdu and was imposed on East Pakistan or Sinhala on the North Sri Lanka, so India too might have seen civil war and fragmentation. But contrary to this fear of Jawaharlal Nehru and Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, linguistic states were you can say have not threatened the unity of India. Rather, they have deepened their unity. So, means see different examples we have seen that in Sri Lanka also on the language Sinhala is the language, and on that basis there was too much disturbance among the people. They did not focus on the development of the country or of their area. What they did on these things, on these linguistic problems, there were too many disturbance, as well as always there was a fight between them on this subject. And also because of this, or the contrary, means we have seen that there are too many languages spoken in India, but then too we have come to a success that it has not divided. We have not divided on the basis of different languages, groups have been not formed. So this is a live as a part larger nation called India. So this is also one content we have seen. Just let us summarize the lesson what we have seen. So a new and divide, what happened after the, you can say, independence, India had to face a new and divided nation. Why a new? Because after independence there was a new country had formed, but then too there was division of the nation. Then what problems they had to face when there was divided nation? 3 millions of the refugees were sent to India, and they were having no jobs, no houses to live. Even their basic needs, at least the government had to face, or to just tackle with the things for the few days at least, and to continue and to just see that all the things were or the differences were settled. Then we have seen that the constitution, after independence, the constitution was written. How the constitution was written? There were 300 members in the meeting. Was it written by one person? No. 300 members in the meeting of Constituent Assembly who had come from all the areas of India and from the all different political parties. The Indian Constitution came into effect on 26 January 1950. Then what were the features of the Indian Constitution? We have seen that universal adult franchise. Then we have seen that there should be, next one is equality. Then special privileges. What special privileges should be given? Next one we have seen discussion in the Constituent Assembly. In that we have seen that power sharing. Okay. The central and the state governments were given some rights. Then there was a discussion that how the powers should be shared among these states or these governments, state and central government. Then we have seen after that it had to see that different support of or the issues of languages. Then on the basis or on the issues of languages, how different formation of states were there, and planning for development should be there. Okay, after all these things we have to see that the planning for development should be there. And then we have seen that mixed economy was there. In this model or in mixed economy, both the state and the private sectors would play important role in the complementary and increasing the production and generating different jobs. So that in the second 5 years plan which was formulated focused on the development of heavy industries or like steel, and also on building the large dams. Then what was the next 60 years? After that, what were the success and failures we have seen? We have seen that in spite of different things, different challenges, we have seen that the India or the independent country had succeeded to follow, or it till today we are having a democratic country. And the failures may be that many of the things they are written on the pages or the paper, but somewhere we have seen that it is not followed, or it somewhere we follow we see that these things are not in practice also. like you can see untouchability. In some areas they just ignore the things and they follow whatever they want. These are some of the success and failures of our independent country. So here in this lesson we have concluded the lesson with all the points. Just go through the points again, read the lesson. Thank you everyone.